government. No one has done more damage and degradation and murder rate than robbery.
You take issue with that? You find something? Yeah, it's garbage. It has nothing to do with history.
In order to escape confrontation with true criminal nature, they must accuse others.
Bana you were tuned in the member was Spades ana olowelela takulandilani MVP bana tukuswitcha game ma Ozzie high tukuwola ngati dice ndikubwera ndi moto ngati player wa Flames game ndaiwelenga ngati baoka ya Chelsea azedani yanga ndikukwapasta tense ndakwachezekela ngati ndi premier bet 2024 koma madzi yasiya 2024 koma magetsi yazima akukamba uneko mabando yandithela zinthu zimathako manapa ndosimajedwa amalawi yazathu akutizunza ndiyazingati amene akuphula skando maheta shedi ndi akuyivunga kuona kuti ndikushayina masiku wano ngazi amene amakuvuta ine ndimamupanga basi ndikuziwa amakuchola mtima koma ine amandicholela dance uli desperate blue tick DMs I'm getting high ndili pa 10% tikubwela 2x2 4x4 nthawi 8 ndikupeza jama 10 watseka nozifila sindimakakamiza atsika nothamangathamanga sitiyimisa you can try hold it down koma sakhazikika wina wakwa moje konde ine olokutripa ine ndesizindikhuza kuti ndiwebebeza bwelo zawone mene gangster amajezela namawuza give me a shot sindimachesa mana olochithuze chamahule sindimasefa.
But a second hidden hand behind the collapse of the Malawi Confederacy was a far more nefarious one: the slave trade. At first, the Confederacy trafficked in slaves on its own terms, taking advantage of their access to the African coast to trade people just like they'd trade iron or ivory. The people who were trafficked around that time could expect to work in brutal conditions on plantations in Mozambique or endure a voyage halfway around the world to Brazil. But as a wave of incoming northbound migration disrupted the Malawi Confederacy, courtesy of a great exodus of people fleeing the rule of Shaka Zulu, and another wave of new arrivals coming eastward across Lake Malawi, the Confederacy began to fracture. The arrivals who'd come fleeing Shaka Zulu used the Zulu leader's own tactics against people previously unexposed to them, and the ones who'd come across Lake Malawi first formed relationships with Confederacy rulers to trade for slaves, but eventually sought to enslave the entire Confederacy too. The people who'd come from across Lake Malawi, the Yao, were for a time the only proficient users of firearms in the region, conferring an advantage upon themselves that the other groups of the region simply couldn't deal with head-on. Over the following decades, during the 1800s, tens of thousands of people each year were taken from their homes in modern-day Malawian territory and enslaved. While some still went to the Portuguese, most went to the then Arab-ruled archipelago of Zanzibar, where powerful sultans ruled up and down much of the east coast of the African continent. Resistance by the Malawi was occasionally successful, but usually fruitless. During these same years, missionaries started to arrive from the British Isles, and before long, traders and hunters began to follow. As the culture of the region began shifting and many of the local tribes started converting to Christianity, the influence of the slave trade eventually diminished. The ethnic Yao population in the area, which read and wrote in Arabic and have continued to practice Islam to this day, would end up fighting against the British during the Crown's early attempts to establish colonial rule, and they'd be left out of the resulting English language literacy projects and other colonial initiatives in education.